Hello, I'm Heather and I'm here now in the kitchen of the Uminami farmhouse. These are the turnips that we harvested in the field earlier. I gave them another little rinse when I came back in because I realized there was some still dirt on them. And I mentioned that just because we do our best to wash our stuff really well here, but that being said, if you're cooking at home, say you bought these at the market, who knows who else has touched them, just give them a wash, you know? That being said, once you wash them, they're gonna be wet. The recipe I'm about to do, actually for most recipes that we make, you would ideally dry these off first. If you don't, that's okay. If you would like to do this really simple, really lazy, don't worry about it, just get them on a cutting board. That being said, I'll show this step just in case you want it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a clean tea towel and I'm just gonna pat these dry. Like, I'm not gonna be worried about getting every last mote of moisture off of here, but I am gonna pat these dry just so that way the water doesn't dilute the flavor of what we're making later. If you prefer, you could use paper towel. Paper towel works just fine. Anything that's not going to leave lint on the vegetables is okay, basically. And the goal is just, like I said, get off the water so it doesn't dilute the flavor. If you wanted to be fancy, I guess you could leave them out and air dry them a bit, but meh, this is a good half measure. Okay, let's call that good enough. I'll just say a word about our kitchen. I like to tell people that the word farmhouse means first farm, then house, and if there's enough farm, you never get around to the house. So as you can see, the farmhouse kitchen is like this. All right, so the only part we need to throw out is this little nib from the end. That's the only part we don't eat. That goes in the compost. Now, the dish we're making today is called Momitsuke, and I'll explain the name later. But what we're gonna do first is cut this bite-sized. So I'll start by cutting off the roots, and now these can be done like so. If I wanted to, I could do them like this too. It's not really a big deal. It's like roughly within this size range is what you're going for. So you can see I have some pieces like this. If these were bigger turnips, I probably would cut them in half first. This is also a little on the thick side. My knife skills aren't the best. This will work. It's not ideal. It'll work though. I mean, a really nice piece like this that's a good, I mean, that's more nearly ideal for the thickness, but we'll live with this. So yeah. Alright, so there's the roots. I realize now that for those smaller ones, cutting them in half first was probably a little smaller than I really want them. It's not a big deal. This is okay. I probably, if I would do this again, I would probably not cut that in half. Now the leaves, when I say bite-sized, it's kind of like 1-inch pieces roughly. There we go. So we've got all this nicely cut up now. So by going by feel, what I would do is I would take probably about that much salt for this much vegetables. This also depends a lot on your personal taste. Like if you want it saltier, do it saltier. If you want it less salty, do it less salty. But that's about how much salt I would start with for this amount. Now, with clean hands, now what we're going to do is take this and squeeze it. Now this is where we get the name of this dish, Momitsuke. The momi comes from the word momu in Japanese, which means to squeeze or to massage. And zuke is like tsukemono, and tsukemono is a type of pickle. So this is basically a type of pickle that you make by squeezing. Some people also refer to it as an instant pickle, because by doing this, squeezing it with the salt, and then we'll add some vinegar and a little bit here, it makes it look very similar to what you would get by a longer term fermentation process. Of course, it doesn't have the same bacteria in it without the fermentation, but it looks and tastes similar. Okay, there we go. So you can decide where you want to stop. This is where I'm going to stop right now. Try to get some of this off my fingers so it goes in the bowl and not down the drain. All right, and so now what I'll do is I will put this in a little serving dish. There we go. So there we brought it in the serving dish, and now the last step is just to add a little bit of vinegar. If I wanted, I could have put the vinegar in while it was still in the bowl and mixed it up. That's fine. I often just put it in the dish first and then add the vinegar later. Again, going to quantities, I normally just pour and kind of feel how much vinegar I want to pour. That being said, some people like a more precise way of doing things. And so I'm just going to grab a spoon from the drawer here. This is just a regular eating spoon. I would say that for those 3 turnips, I would put kind of like that amount of vinegar, sort of. Yeah, that looks about the amount I would usually do. And if we want to just keep this simple, that is ready to serve. If we wanted to get a little bit fancier, we could do something like, for example, what do we have here? We've got some black sesame seeds here. If we wanted to get fancy, we could say sprinkle a little bit of black sesame on top, or some white sesame if we had that. Black is very striking, goes with the black dish, right? Another thing we could have done to make this another level is we could have taken something like an orange and put some orange zest in there. Orange would not be the traditional one, of course. The traditional one would be yuzu, which is a type of Japanese citrus, not readily available in North America, unfortunately, but some people substitute Mayer lemon or orange zest or something like that. You can just shave off a little bit of the skin, and you would add that at the time when you were mixing it in the bowl and squeezing it. So there you have it. This makes a really nice little side dish for all kinds of meals. You can also keep it in the fridge a little bit longer if you want to have a more fully pickled feeling to it. But like I said, it's ready to go right now. So that is kabu momitsuke.